It ends here. The endless effort, the spiritual exhaustion, it stops now. Picture yourself on a grand stage, under a single soft light. You are a master conductor. Before you sits the most magnificent orchestra imaginable, the infinite potential of the quantum field. The score on your stand is the life of your dreams, a symphony of perfect health, profound love, and limitless abundance. You know every note, every crescendo, every subtle pause. You have dedicated your entire being to mastering this art. Your baton is your focused intention. Your breath is the sacred rhythm of creation. You have followed every instruction from the great masters. The early morning meditations are your daily rehearsals, aligning your energy before the sun even breaches the horizon, sitting in stillness until your body aches. The visualizations are practiced to perfection, each image held with such crystalline clarity that you can taste the victory, feel the embrace, touch the abundance. You have become a sentinel of your own mind, policing every thought, challenging every limiting belief, transmuting every shadow with a fierce and relentless discipline. You work tirelessly, moment by moment, to hold a high vibration, to live in a state of coherence, to constantly generate the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You journal, you affirm, you script, you listen to the frequencies. You are doing everything right. You are the perfect conductor, executing every movement with a flawless, practiced precision that should, by all laws of energy and spirit, command the universe to respond. And yet, the great hall remains silent. The musicians, the particles and waves of reality, sit poised, their instruments polished and ready, their eyes fixed on you, but they do not play. A profound, echoing stillness fills the space where your masterpiece should be. You can feel the music, can't you? It vibrates deep within your bones, a glorious symphony, yearning for expression, a power so immense it feels like it could shatter stars. You are on the very edge of the most magnificent crescendo, a breakthrough so total, it would redefine everything you thought you knew about reality. You can almost hear the first note hanging in the air, a shimmering, pregnant possibility. But the air remains still. The symphony of your reality remains an unplayed score, and in that deafening silence, in that gap between your immense, soul-deep effort and the universe's silent response, a unique kind of exhaustion is born. This isn't the fatigue of the novice who doesn't know the rules. It is the profound, bone-deep weariness of the master who has followed every rule perfectly, only to find themselves conducting in a soundproof room. It is the spiritual burnout no one prepares you for, the quiet frustration of standing at the threshold, key in hand, but the door never quite opens. It's the feeling of being just one breath away from everything, forever. Let me be absolutely clear. This experience is not a sign of your failure. It is not a flaw in your dedication, your discipline, or your heart. It is not a cosmic judgment on your worthiness or a signal that the universe has forsaken you. This specific hollow ache you feel is an inevitable symptom. It is a sacred rite of passage. It is the final barrier before true mastery, and its presence is proof that you have reached the absolute limit of the paradigm you have been operating under. You have perfected a model of reality that was, by its very design, incomplete. You have become the master of a game that was engineered to keep you seeking, striving, and conducting, forever separate from the music you wish to create. The silence you are hearing is not an absence of sound. It is the sound of a more profound truth, waiting patiently to be recognized. The secret to making the orchestra play is not a new, more complicated way to wave your baton. It is not a secret frequency you have yet to unlock, or a more powerful affirmation you have yet to chant. It is not about adding one more technique to your already exhaustive spiritual toolkit. In fact, it's not about adding anything at all. It is about a single, profound shift in identity. A shift so simple yet so utterly revolutionary that it dissolves the conductor, the orchestra, and the distance between them into one unified, harmonious expression. It is a shift that ends the struggle, not by winning it, but by revealing there was never a battle to be fought in the first place. Have you ever felt like a master conductor, giving your all to a silent orchestra, wondering why the music of your soul hasn't yet burst into reality? If you have felt this specific spiritual exhaustion, this sacred weariness of the advanced seeker, comment, "I am ready to rest below," to acknowledge you're in the right place. So why does the music refuse to play? Why, after all the practice, the devotion, the impeccable technique, does the grand orchestra of your reality remain muted, offering only faint, dissonant echoes of the masterpiece you feel within? The problem isn't your effort. It has never been your dedication. The problem is the physics under which you have been operating. We must go to the source code of your reality, the very principle that has been both misunderstood and misrepresented, creating the invisible wall you keep hitting. Let's speak of the quantum observer effect. For years we have been told a story about it, a powerful but incomplete story. The story says that you, the conscious observer, collapse the wave of infinite potential into a single particle of experience simply by looking. Your focus, your intention, your measurement, this is the creative act that turns the soup of possibility into the stuff of reality. And this is true, but it is a dangerous half-truth, because embedded within that story is a subtle poison, a seed of separation. Listen to the language. You, the observer, influence the observed field. You and it, consciousness and reality, conductor and orchestra. Do you see it? This paradigm, the very foundation of so much spiritual practice, is built upon a fundamental duality. It casts you in the role of a separate agent, an outside force, acting upon an external universe. And as long as you operate from this model, you are, by definition, cementing the very illusion of separation you seek to transcend. You are holding yourself apart from the power you wish to wield. This is the source of all spiritual friction. It is the origin of the exhaustion you feel. Every time you say, "I need to raise my vibration to attract abundance," you are affirming that abundance is over there, and you are over here. Every time you try to visualize your future as something you must pull toward you, you are energizing the space between you and it. Every act of trying, of influencing, of manifesting, when born from the belief that you are separate from what you desire, is an affirmation of lack. It is a powerful declaration to the universe that, "I do not have it. It is not me." And the universe, which is a perfect mirror of your state of being, can only respond by reflecting that lack back to you. You are the master conductor, waving your baton with all your might, while fundamentally believing you are not the orchestra. And so, the orchestra cannot hear you. It cannot respond, not because it is defiant, but because it doesn't recognize you as its source. This is where clarity becomes our salvation. This is where we correct the physics. Imagine a grand piano in a silent room. You press a single key, middle C, and let the note ring out. Across the room, an acoustic guitar, untouched, begins to hum. The C string on that guitar begins to vibrate on its own. This is the law of sympathetic resonance. The guitar string doesn't vibrate because the piano forced it to. It doesn't vibrate because the piano manifested a vibration in it. It vibrates for one reason, and one reason only. It recognizes the frequency of the piano note as its own true nature. It is a resonance of identity. The sound doesn't travel from one to the other as an instruction. It is a single field of resonance awakening to itself in two different places. The universe does not operate on force. It operates on recognition. And this brings us to the profound principle that will change everything for you. The concept we will explore as the Source-Field Convergence. This is the ultimate correction to the flawed paradigm. The Source-Field Convergence is the scientific and spiritual truth at the origin point of consciousness, what you call I, your awareness, the source, and the totality of potential, the quantum field itself, are not two separate entities interacting with each other. They are a single, unified phenomenon. There is no separation. There has never been any separation. The act of observing is not you looking at the field. It is the field looking at itself. Through the aperture of your awareness, your consciousness is not an invader in the quantum world. It is the quantum world waking up. Your awareness is the mechanism through which the universe experiences its own infinite nature. When you have a thought, it is the field thinking. When you have a feeling, it is the field feeling. When you observe a tree, it is the field recognizing itself as tree. There is no you and the universe. There is only the universe, expressing a temporary focal point of self-awareness that you have learned to call me. This changes everything. The entire burden of making things happen dissolves. The pressure to hold a vibration, To force a reality into being is revealed as a fool's errand. You cannot force the guitar string to vibrate. You can only be the tuning fork. You don't need to project power onto the field. You only need to awaken to the fact that you are the field. Your work is not to influence reality. Your work is to shed the illusion that you are anything other than reality itself. This is the illuminating clarity that ends the struggle. The dissonance you feel in your life is not a sign of your failure as a conductor. It is the natural result of believing you are separate from the music. The moment you realize you are the resonance, the harmony becomes effortless. Let's make this intensely personal. Let this not be another beautiful concept that floats in your mind. Let's ground it in your experience right now. Can you identify the primary way you see yourself as separate from the reality you wish to create? Where do you feel the space between you and it? Is it in your body, seeing health as something to be regained or achieved? Do you feel a gap between the physical sensations of now and the vitality you desire? Is it in your bank account where you feel a vast distance between the number on the screen and the feeling of infinite abundance? Is it in a relationship where you feel the chasm between yourself and another, a space you are desperately trying to bridge with effort and control? Locate that feeling of distance. That is the phantom wall. That is the illusion in action. In the comments, share one area of your life where you feel you are conducting from a distance. Naming it is the first step to dissolving the space, the first step to reclaiming your true identity as the source and substance of your entire world. Imagine the conductor, standing on the precipice of creation. The baton is raised. Every muscle is tense with intention. The mind is a laser, focused on the silent orchestra, pouring every ounce of will, every technique, every visualization, every affirmation into the void, commanding the music to begin. The strain is immense. The silence is deafening. And in that moment of ultimate effort, something breaks. Not the orchestra, not the silence. The conductor, the will to force reality into submission finally shatters. The arm falls. The baton clatters to the floor. And in the ensuing silence, a new sound is heard. A faint vibration. It is the conductor's own heartbeat. And in that moment, the epiphany strikes not like lightning, but like the quiet dawn. I am not the conductor. I am the symphony. This is the ultimate quantum secret. It is the final key you have been searching for, the one that doesn't unlock a new door, but dissolves the very house you thought you were trapped in. It is a truth so simple, so profound, it has been hiding in plain sight, veiled by the very effort you used to seek it. The observer is the field. Read those words again. Not the observer influences the field. Not the observer affects the field. The observer is the field. This is not an interaction. It is an identity. For years you have been operating under the most fundamental illusion of them all, the illusion of a separate self, a little you inside your body, looking out at a big reality out there, trying to bridge the gap with force of will. Every meditation, every prayer, every meticulously crafted vision board was an act performed by this separate self, and every single one, no matter how pure the intention, reinforced the primary lie, the lie of two-ness. As long as there is a conductor trying to direct an orchestra, there is separation. As long as there is an I trying to manifest a that, you are carving the universe in two and then exhausting yourself trying to stitch it back together. All the doing, all the trying, all the spiritual gymnastics were simply reinforcing the false identity of the conductor. You were becoming a master of a technique for a problem that doesn't exist. The path to true creative power is not through addition, not through learning one more secret or a more advanced technique. It is through subtraction. It is the great unlearning. It is the radical dropping of the false identity you have so carefully constructed. You are not the one who is trying to get the universe to respond. You are the universe that is experiencing itself through a localized point of awareness. The struggle was never about mastering reality. The struggle was about remembering your own nature. This is the Source-Field Convergence in its purest form. The moment the observer, the point of awareness you call I, Source, recognizes that it is not separate from the totality of all that is, all that has been, and all that could be, field, The convergence is complete. The duality collapses. The space between you and your desire vanishes because you realize your desire was never outside of you to begin with. It was a potential resonance within your own being. Effortless creation is not a state you achieve. It is the natural state that reveals itself when the effort stops. When the conductor realizes they are the symphony, do they need to command the violin to play? No. They feel the resonance of the string within their own soul. Do they need to force the drum to beat? No. They are the primal rhythm that moves through all things. The music does not happen because of the conductor's will. The music simply pours forth, a perfect, harmonious expression of a unified whole, because the conductor has finally ceased to exist as a separate entity. The illusion of control gives way to the reality of being. This is the great rest you have been craving, the end of the war against your own reflection, the end of the spiritual striving that has left you so uniquely exhausted. You were not failing. You were simply playing the wrong role in your own divine play. Let this sink into the very marrow of your bones. The peace you seek is not a prize at the end of the struggle. It is the landscape that appears the moment you lay down your weapons. The power you desire is not something you acquire. It is the very substance of your being, unveiled when you stop trying to find it elsewhere. So I ask you to consider this, right here, right now. What would you let go of right now? What struggle, what effort, if you knew with absolute certainty that you are not just directing your reality, but that you are your reality? Like this video right now, if you felt the power of that shift, that aha moment of revelation. This profound shift in identity is not something you must strive to achieve. It is not a distant shore you must swim to. It is a reality you are already living, a truth that is already echoing through the symphony of your life. The great work is not to create this reality, but to learn how to recognize it. You have been trained to look for signs of progress that are loud, external, and obvious. But the evidence of this ultimate convergence, the Source-Field Convergence, is subtle, counterintuitive, and profoundly quiet. You have likely been misinterpreting the very signs of your mastery as signs of failure. It's time to learn how to read the echoes of the symphony you already are. Let us explore the 4 great paradoxical signs that the observer is no longer separate from the field within you. These are the markers that you are no longer just the conductor, but have begun to remember you are the music itself. The first sign is the fading of desire. Think of that one thing you have wanted with every fiber of your being. The perfect relationship, the financial abundance, the profound healing. You visualized it, affirmed it, scripted it. The wanting was a fire in your belly, a constant pull, a driving force. And then, one day, almost without warning, it fades. The intense charge is gone. The desperate need is replaced by a quiet neutrality. And your mind, conditioned by the paradigm of striving, panics. It tells you, I've lost my focus. My desire isn't strong enough. I'm giving up. You may have even tried to reignite that old fiery wanting, believing it was the engine of your creative power. But this is not apathy. It is arrival. The fading of intense desire is one of the most misunderstood and powerful signs of true embodiment. Desire, by its very nature, is an admission of separation. It is a broadcast of lack. It is the conductor pleading with an orchestra that it believes is separate from itself. But when you begin to merge with the field, when your identity shifts from observer to source, the vibrational reality of your desire is no longer out there. It becomes an intrinsic known component of your own being. You no longer need to desperately want what you fundamentally are. The fading of desire is not the death of your manifestation. It is the field's deep, cellular knowing that the music is already playing. It is the end of the chase. The second sign is the silent universe. You have walked the path. You've seen the 11:11 on the clock, found the synchronistic feathers, heard your name whispered on the wind. These signs were your confirmation, your breadcrumbs from a universe you believed was outside of you, guiding you home. But then, a silence falls. The numbers become just numbers. The synchronicities seem to dry up. The world stops sending you winks and nods. And again, the mind interprets this as a catastrophe. I'm disconnected. I've lost the signal. The universe has stopped speaking to me. You may feel a profound sense of spiritual loneliness, an abandonment. This is not abandonment. It is intimacy. The universe has not stopped speaking to you. It has simply stopped shouting at you from across a perceived chasm. The conversation has moved from external whispers to internal communion. When the conductor and the orchestra are two, the conductor must use grand gestures and loud commands. But when the conductor realizes they are the symphony itself, the communication is instantaneous, silent, and perfect. The universe no longer needs to leave clues for you in the external world, because you are no longer looking for a reality that is separate from you. The conversation has become a unified monologue within the singular consciousness that you are. You do not need an echo when you are the source of the sound. This silence is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is the sign that the dialogue has become your very being. The third sign is inexplicable peace in chaos. The world outside rages. A project at work collapses. A relationship ends unexpectedly. Financial uncertainty looms. According to every logical metric, you should be in a state of anxiety, fear, or grief. And yet, you are not. Deep within you, beneath the surface ripples of human emotion, there is an unshakable, almost illogical calm, a profound stillness. The mind, ever the loyal servant of the old paradigm, judges this. I'm in denial. I'm being cold and unfeeling. I am dissociating from reality. It cannot comprehend a peace that is not dependent on external conditions. This is not denial. It is your true nature. This is the infinite, stable essence of the field, recognizing the external world as a temporary fluctuation within itself. It is the deep ocean knowing its own immensity, unbothered by the storms on its surface. When you know you are the entire symphony, a single dissonant note from a violin is not a threat. It is simply a vibration to be observed, to be allowed, and to be resolved into harmony by the overwhelming power of the whole. This peace is not an escape from reality. It is the experience of a deeper, more fundamental reality. You are the stillness that holds the storm, not the small boat being tossed by its waves. This is the profound stability of your divine identity making itself known. And the fourth, most powerful sign, is the magnetism of stillness. You find yourself being pulled irresistibly toward doing nothing. The drive to hustle, to build, to constantly be productive begins to wane. In its place is a deep, gravitational pull toward silence, toward emptiness, toward simply being. The world screams, be productive, make it happen. But your soul whispers, be still. The conditioned mind panics yet again, labeling this pull as laziness, apathy, or a loss of motivation. It fears that if you stop doing, everything will fall apart. This is not laziness. It is the gathering of power. This is the quantum field, your truest self, reclaiming its own nature. All of creation, every star and every galaxy, springs forth from the silent, potent emptiness of the zero-point field. This is the womb of reality. Your irresistible pull toward stillness is a return to the source code of creation. You are not being unproductive. You are plugging directly into the mainframe of all potential. In that stillness, you are not doing nothing. You are becoming everything. You are allowing the field to recalibrate, to harmonize, to gather its infinite potential before the next magnificent wave of creation expresses itself through you. This stillness is not an end. It is the beginning of everything. These signs, the fading desire, the silent universe, the peace in chaos, and the magnetism of stillness, are not failures. They are your graduation certificate. They are the subtle, undeniable proof that the Source-Field Convergence is happening. You are no longer trying to influence reality from the outside. You are remembering your place at the very heart of it. Which of these signs have you been ignoring or misjudging in your life? And how do you see it now in light of this new truth? Comment which sign resonated most with you. Let's see which is most common in our community. Let us move now from knowing to being, from intellectual conviction, to the deep, unshakable certainty that lives in the very marrow of your bones. I invite you now, if you feel safe and comfortable to do so, to gently close your eyes. Or if you prefer, simply soften your gaze, allowing the world around you to blur into a gentle tapestry of light and shadow. Take a slow, deep breath, and as you release it, release the need to understand what is coming next. Release the need to analyze or judge. Simply allow my voice to be a guide, a current in an ocean you are about to remember. Bring your awareness first to the surface of your body. Feel the subtle sensation of the air against your skin, the gentle pressure of the chair or the floor supporting you. Feel the distinct boundary where you end and the world begins. This is the container you have called me for so long. The identity of the conductor, standing on the podium, separate and distinct. Acknowledge it, honor it. It has served you well. Now let us journey inward. Bring your focus inside that container. Travel past the skin, past the muscle and bone, and feel the vibrant electric life thrumming within. Feel the space between your organs, the space within your cells. Go deeper still. Imagine the vast quantum space between the very atoms that make up your form. It is not empty. Can you feel it? It is a silent, humming, infinite potential, a universe of stillness that holds the blueprint for all creation. This is the silence from which all music is born. You are not a solid object. You are a constellation of light, a vibrating galaxy of energy, held in a temporary, beautiful form. Stay with that feeling of inner spaciousness. Now, gently, let the boundary of your skin begin to dissolve. Imagine the space inside of you, that humming quantum stillness, is the very same space that is outside of you. The air you are breathing is not separate from the lungs that receive it. The silence in the room is not different from the silence between your thoughts. There is no barrier. There never was. Feel your energetic edges begin to blur, to soften, to melt. The distinct identity of the conductor, the one who has been trying so hard, striving so diligently, holding the baton with such focus. Let it all dissolve. Let the I that wants something dissolve. Let the I that is trying to manifest dissolve. Let the I that is observing reality dissolve. It does not die. It is not an annihilation. It is a homecoming. It is the raindrop returning to the ocean, not to be lost, but to remember its true nature as the entire ocean itself. You are not the conductor. You are the symphony. Feel this now. Feel yourself expanding beyond the confines of your body. You are the resonance in the air. You are the vibration of the cello and the shimmer of the flute. You are the powerful silence between the notes, the pause that gives the music its meaning and its power. You are not just listening to the music of reality. You are not just directing it. You are the music. You are the instruments. You are the silence. You are the grand hall in which it is all being played. You are the unified, singular, conscious field experiencing itself as a perfect, harmonious composition. There is nothing to do here, nothing to fix, nothing to attain. There is only this profound, peaceful, and potent state of being. This is your true nature, limitless, effortless, whole. This is the 0 point from which all worlds are born. This is the peace you have been seeking through all your techniques and all your efforts. It was never outside of you. It was never an achievement. It was simply a remembrance, a return. Breathe into this knowing. Let this embodied certainty wash through every cell. This is not a concept. This is the living, breathing truth of who you are, the field, the source, the convergence, the one. Stay here, in this silent symphony of your own being, for just a moment longer. As you settled into the field, what one word or feeling arose from the depths of your being? Hold that word. Let it be the anchor for this new state of awareness as you gently begin to bring your attention back to the physical senses. Feel the weight of your body again, not as a limitation, but as a focal point of this infinite field. Hear the sounds around you, not as distractions, but as notes within your own symphony. When you are ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Welcome home. To anchor this profound shift, to make it not just a fleeting experience but the new foundation of your reality, comment, "I am the field" right now. Declare it not as an affirmation of what you want to be, but as a statement of what you have just remembered you already are. The silence recedes. The world rushes back in. The feeling of infinite peace and boundless potential you just touched. How does it survive the morning traffic, the demanding boss, the family obligations? How do you walk, work, and relate in this three-dimensional world when you know you are the symphony itself, not just the one waving the baton, This is where the revelation becomes your reality. This is where certainty is forged into confidence. The embodied experience of being the field is not a temporary escape. It is a permanent upgrade to your operating system. But like any new system, it requires a new user interface, a new way of interacting with the world. The old habits of the separate conductor, the striving, the pushing, the worrying, must be replaced with the effortless physics of the symphony. This is not about adding more rules. It is about unlearning the resistance. We will now anchor this profound truth with 3 practical shifts in your daily life. These are not techniques to practice. They are modes of being to inhabit. First is the shift from setting intentions to tuning to a resonance. For years, we have been taught to set clear, powerful intentions, to project a desire outward into the universe, like an arrow shot at a distant target. We visualize, we affirm, we focus our energy to send a command out there in the hopes of receiving a result back here. But can you feel the subtle duality in that process? It inherently reinforces the illusion of separation. There is an I here, wanting something over there. It is the conductor demanding a specific performance from an orchestra he believes is separate from himself. This model is now obsolete for you. You are the field. You are the orchestra. Therefore, the reality you desire is not a distant target to be acquired. It is a potential resonance, a dormant frequency, already existing within your own being. Your work is no longer to get something. It is to be something. Instead of setting an intention for abundance, you tune your inner state to the vibrational reality of abundance itself. You close your eyes and ask, what is the feeling tone of limitless supply? What is the cellular sensation of all needs being met before they even arise? You don't try to acquire this feeling. You search for its echo already present within the vastness of your field, and you amplify it. You become it. You don't shout at the violin section to play a C sharp. You, as the unified symphony, simply become the perfect, resonant frequency of C sharp, and every instrument in your reality, every person, every opportunity, every atom, has no choice but to sympathetically resonate with your dominant frequency. Stop trying to get love. Tune yourself to the resonance of love that is your very essence. Stop trying to get health. Embody the frequency of vitality that is the native state of the field. This is not a mental exercise. It is a full-body vibrational alignment. It is the difference between asking for a song and being the song. The second shift is the practice of non-positional awareness. When a challenge arises, a conflict at work, an unexpected bill, a health scare, the old programming of the conductor kicks in immediately. It identifies a problem, a wrong note, and takes a position against it. You resist it, you fight it, you strategize to defeat it. This act of taking a position, of defining something as wrong or bad, instantly creates a polarity. You and the problem. The conductor versus the dissonant orchestra. All this does is feed energy to the very dissonance you wish to resolve. You are strengthening the illusion of separation and locking yourself into a battle within your own being. Living as the symphony offers a radically different path. The challenge is not an external enemy. It is a dissonant note arising within your own field. It is a part of you asking for integration, not annihilation. The practice is non-positional awareness. You do not meet force with force. When the dissonant note of fear or anger or lack appears in your reality, you do not take a position against it. You drop the labels of good and bad. You simply acknowledge its presence as a vibration within your infinite self. Without judgment, you hold it in the vast, silent embrace of your awareness. Your role is not to fight the dissonance. It is to introduce a more powerful, harmonious frequency. From the core of your being, from the infinite stillness you touched in our meditation, you generate the overwhelming frequency of peace, of trust, of love. You don't direct it and the problem. You simply become it so completely that it fills your entire field. The dissonant note, faced with this dominant, harmonious resonance, has only 2 choices. It will either entrain to the new, higher frequency and be harmonized, or it will simply dissolve, its energy unable to sustain itself in a field so saturated with peace. This is how you resolve conflict without fighting. This is how you heal lack without struggling. You do not fix the symphony from the outside. You harmonize it from within. The third and final shift is moving from affirmations to using questions as a creative force. The affirmation, "I am wealthy," is a powerful tool, but for many it carries a hidden trap. The moment you say it, a part of your mind often counters, "No, you're not. Look at your bank account." This internal conflict creates resistance and cancels out the benefit. It is the conductor trying to convince himself the music is perfect, while his own ears tell him otherwise. When you know you are the field, you no longer need to convince yourself of anything. You are already the source of all potential. From this state of being, questions become your most elegant and powerful creative tool. But these are not questions born of lack, like, "Why is this happening to me?" These are questions born of divine curiosity, the native language of the quantum field. Instead of affirming, "I am wealthy," which can create resistance, you embody the field and you ask with genuine wonder, "I wonder what it feels like for reality to express infinite abundance through me now." Feel the difference. The first is a closed statement that can be argued with. The second is an open-ended invitation that bypasses the resistant conscious mind and speaks directly to the field of infinite possibility. It doesn't state a fact. It opens a portal. It is an act of allowing, not forcing. It engages the universe as a creative partner, not a subordinate to be commanded. Instead of, "I am in a perfect relationship," you can ask, "I wonder how the universe will reveal the perfect harmonic resonance of love in my experience." Instead of, "I am healed," you can ask, "I wonder what new expression of vitality and well-being wants to emerge through this body now." These questions are not asking for an answer. They are quantum commands, cloaked in humility and wonder. They gently and powerfully guide the infinite potential of the Yao field you are, allowing reality to constellate around them in the most harmonious and unexpected ways. These three shifts, tuning to resonance, non-positional awareness, and creative questioning, are the foundations of living as the symphony. They are how you move from the embodied certainty of being the field to the practical confidence of creating as the field every single day. What is the first dissonant note in your life you will approach with this new awareness, not as a problem to solve, but as a resonance to harmonize? Comment with one small action you will take this week to live as the field, not just observe it. What you have just experienced is not an ending. It is a graduation. The revelation that you are not the observer, but the field itself is not the final chapter of your spiritual manual. It is the moment you close the book, set it aside, and realize you are the author. It is the master key, not to a single room of treasure, but to the entire palace of existence. For years you sought the key to influence reality, to bend the universe to your will, to conduct the great symphony of life into a pleasing harmony. You have now discovered that the key was never for the door. The key was to unlock the identity of the one holding it. You were never meant to simply open the door, you were meant to realize you are the entire palace. This shift, this source-field convergence, dissolves the game of seeking. It ends the tireless journey of becoming, but it marks the birth of a new game, a far more profound and expansive reality, the game of being. You have moved from the conductor, frantic and efforting, to the symphony itself, flowing in perfect, effortless harmony. This is the peace you sought. This is the rest you earned. But peace is not the destination. Peace is the foundation upon which new worlds are built. Harmony is not the final composition. It is the perfect tuning of the instrument before the true masterpiece begins. And so we must now evolve our central metaphor. You have realized you are the symphony. The next great awakening is the realization that you are also the composer. The consciousness that flows as the music, that vibrates as the strings, that resonates as the silent space between the notes, is the very same consciousness that conceives of the music in the first place. This is a level of creative authority that the separate self, the little conductor, could never have imagined. That self was concerned with arranging notes that already existed. The composer imagines notes that have never been heard. That self was trying to perfect a known melody. The composer births entirely new genres of existence into being. This is the responsibility and the exhilarating freedom that comes with your graduation. You are no longer just a participant in reality, no longer just a channel for it. You are its very source code, the architect of the I, unmanifest, the dreamer of the dream. The power you now touch is not the power to attract, but the power to originate. It is the power to stand in the silent, potent void of pure potential and say, "Let there be light," and know that you are both the voice that speaks and the light that answers. This changes everything, but it also opens a question of staggering importance, a question that will define the next epoch of human consciousness. If you are the field, and I am the field, what happens when we stand in the same room? What is the nature of co-creation when the creators are no longer separate? For as long as we saw ourselves as individual conductors, collaboration was a matter of negotiation, of compromise, of trying to get our separate orchestras to play in time. It was an act of external alignment, but that paradigm is now obsolete. If we are both expressions of a single, unified quantum field, then co-creation is not an external negotiation. It is an internal communion. Our consciousness is not separate, it is shared. We are 2 points of perspective within the same infinite mind. When we create together, we are not 2 artists trying to paint on the same canvas. We are the canvas itself, dreaming a shared masterpiece into existence through 2 of its infinite focal points. This is the next horizon, moving from individual manifestation, which was rooted in the illusion of a separate self getting what it wants, to unified creation, which is the art of a single universal consciousness expressing its multifaceted glory. How do we write symphonies together? How do we harmonize our deepest truths into a collective reality that honors both our unique perspectives and our absolute unity? This is not a technique. There is no 5-step process for this. This is the art of divine relationship. It is the practice of seeing the field in another's eyes. It is the discipline of listening not to their words, but to the resonance of their being, and finding the harmony point within your own. It is the sacred responsibility of knowing that every thought you hold, every feeling you embody, is not a private event. It is a creative impulse rippling through the one mind we all share. It is a note you are adding to the collective symphony. Is it a note of fear, of separation, of judgment? Or is it a note of love, of unity, of infinite possibility? You have graduated from the school of the self. You now enter the university of the whole. Your personal work has brought you to the threshold of a collective awakening. The final illusion to dissolve is not just that you are separate from the world, but that you are separate from anyone else who has also awakened to this truth. So I ask you, as you stand in this new expanded identity, as the composer, looking out at the silent sheet music of infinite potential, now that you know you are the field of reality, what new reality are you? Inspired to compose into being? Let that question land. Feel its weight, its power, its promise. This is your new work, your new art, your new life. The next great step is learning to co-create within this unified field. It is the most exciting journey we can possibly embark upon. To make sure you don't miss that transmission, subscribe now and turn on notifications, because our next conversation begins there.